Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and today we're picking up back up with our AI and ontologies kind of series that we're doing. I realize it's been a little bit of time, but the holidays, and ended up getting sick over the holidays. Still got a little bit of a cough, so if there's any cuts in this video, it's because I tried to hack up a lung, and you guys don't need to hear that. So in the last video, the first video in the series, I kind of introduced the topic of like semantic models and ontologies and digital twins and all of these sort of things, and why people feel we need these things when we're dealing with AI, right? And it's to put the guardrails on the AI essentially, and to help better define things, so that to reduce hallucination, yeah, whatever. Um, keep the AI from hallucinating. There we go. And so, people feel that we need this additional information and structure around this in order to prevent that from happening, and to have it kind of put the kind of focus the AI on your specific business or your specific organization, as it will. But here's the thing: when it comes to like semantic models and ontologies and digital twins and knowledge graphs, it's all just metadata, people, right? So, I mean, do people and I wonder if people actually understand that or not, right? You're just supplying additional context, additional, if you don't like the term information, you just use, or metadata, use the term information. You're just providing additional information to the AI. That's all you're doing, right? Whether it's in a semantic model or an ontology or a canonical model or a knowledge graph or a digital twin or business glossary or domain model, it's all the same damn thing, people. It's just additional data about data. What back in the day, 25, 30 years ago, we called metadata. All right. And again, if you don't like the term metadata, just use the term information. You're just providing additional information, right? And I realize that, like, I'm a consultant. Like, we consultants, we like to invent new terms for things so that we can get poor suckers, like consumers, to like buy our consulting services because they don't know any better. And we just relabel something and then we'll call it something different, and then we'll go sell that to the same people that bought the last damn term that we invented for the same damn thing, right? So we do this all the time. That's how consulting works. And people are stupid enough to buy it, right? So it's a useful thing to do, right? We can sell our services to morons that just keep buying the same exact thing, named something different. But yeah, so thank God for idiots in this world. Otherwise I'd be out of business. So anyway, so no, none of this stuff is any different than one another. It's all the same damn thing. It's just metadata, right? So, if you strip away, with these buzzwords and everything, all they do is like they define what things exist, how are these things related, what rules apply to these things, how are these metrics defined, what's changed over time, what's allowed and forbidden, right? That's it. That's all these things do, whether you call it ontology, semantic model, blah, 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 blah. It's just metadata that defines what's allowed and what's not allowed, and what I just went over, right? That's all this is. But people make a big deal out of it, like these Microsoft and these other people are like, oh my God, semantic models they're the future, right? Well, what do semantic models do? They define entities, right? They define relationships between entities. They define calculations, and they define business terms, right? That's it. That's all they do. It's just metadata, right? So now you could say, well, Greg, this is optimized for aggregation, and these things are optimized for humans, and to work with, and they're optimized for reporting and dashboards. Don't care. Still metadata. All right. And then you get into like ontologies and knowledge graphs, right? So everybody teaches these like, oh, it's ontology, and well, what do? They define things, right? They define the relationships between things. They define boundaries, right? They define constraints. That's it. It's just metadata. It's just additional information about something. That's all it is, right? And then you get into the champion, right? The one that people like they want to get into now these days is the buzzword champion, digital twins, right? And then people use these damn things incorrectly. Like the whole concept of being a digital twin was it's taking something physical and virtualizing it, right? And that's the whole purpose of it. Like, so for example, I can take a car and I can virtualize that car, and then I can virtually drive that car, and I can learn, oh, well, this isn't really placed very well. And I could, I need to move this around and move that around, right? There, if you look at the actual usage of the term digital twin, it's all about mapping something physical so that you can analyze it better, in software and in virtualization. That's what it is. But at the end of the day, right, and if you really want to talk about a digital twin for a business, you already have one more than likely. The only problem is you don't call it that. But again, it's just additional data that you can define about something. That's all it is. So, and in fact, it's funny, like in here, I have this shared. In many settings, the ontology serves as a digital twin for the organization, containing both the semantic elements, objects, what are the objects, entities, properties of those entities, links, oh, those are relationships, and kinetic elements, lovely, actions, what's allowed or not, what's allowed and not allowed, what can you do with it, right? It's all just metadata, people. That's all it is, right? And people, we're going to create all these stupid terms in order to sell people on the same things that they've already known about and how to do for ages and ages and ages, right? So here's the actual real issue, right? Whether you're going to use semantic models or ontologies or knowledge graphs or digital twins, which they're all the same, right? It's just all metadata wearing different clothes, right? The real question is who's going to be consuming this, whatever you're creating, right? Who governs it? Who governs it? And who is accountable for when it's wrong? So if you don't get those right, I don't care if you have 70 semantic models and 12 ontologies and 13 knowledge graphs and 7 digital twins, you're you're not helping yourselves at all. And in fact, I would say that if you have any more than one of all of those things, right? Because again, why do you need 70 semantic models or 17 ontologies or even one semantic model and one ontology, right? Just make it one, right? Why do I want to have my metrics on what gross margin, the definition of gross margin is spread out across 70 different semantic models, plus an ontology, plus a knowledge graph, plus a digital twin? How about I just define that in one spot? Maybe that's a good idea. So anyway, this is going to be, again, we're setting things up for as we're going to be progressing throughout this conversation, right? But I need to make it very clear because it's very important for where we're going later on that all of this stuff is just metadata. It's just additional information that you are providing to the AIs in order to try to put some guardrails and some constraints around them. That's all this is. And you can call it whatever the hell you want, but that's really all you're doing. So, that's all I had for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.